Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. It's a pleasure for us to invite you to this uh, virtual discussion on the topic streamlining manufacturing processes with low code, which we are bringing to you in collaboration with BSP, our partner, uh, the premium Zoho partner, as well as the long term Zoho Creator specialist. And in this session, we are trying to bring you the story of Armoires AD Plus, on how this organization, with about 125 plus employees, into the business of custom kitchen cabinet and cabinet manufacturing, have used Creator to drive their business forward. And by Creator, low code and Creator to drive their business forward, right? This is a part of a three-part webinar series that we are hosting with BSP. This is the second one, and then we will also have another one follow next month. So in the first webinar, we spoke about the relevance of low code in manufacturing. The biggest contribution that low code can do is to modernize processes which has been established a long while back, to bring it to the current needs, to cater to the current customer requirements, and to do that faster and in a more cost efficient way. So we thought it would be nice to bring you a customer who has done that over the past few years with the help of PHP and Creator. So let me introduce our panel for the day. Uh, First off, we have Kevin Kelly, who handles the role of a financial controller at Armoires AD Plus. It's a Quebec-based family-owned company, which, like I mentioned, is into the manufacturing of custom kitchen and bathroom cabinets. Uh, Please note that Kevin is from Quebec with French as his first language, but has been kind enough to agree to be a part of this session and share his journey with us. Uh, he will be speaking in English, but if there is any addition that needs to be done, any elaboration that needs to be done, we have our second speaker, who is also the CTE of BSP, Mr. Yunus, joining us. Yunus has handled or partnered with both Creator as well as Armoires to execute this entire project. So he knows this end to end. And like I mentioned, he will step in if need be to elaborate any of the things that Kevin is sharing with us. Finally, I have my partner in crime, Paul, from BSP, who heads who heads operations for BSP in the US, and would be a co-host in this particular discussion, and would also chime in with his insights on low code and Creator, especially in the US market. Once again, all of you, welcome. And last but not least, I'm your moderator and host for the day. My name is Tribin, and I lead analyst relationship for Zoho Creator. I also lead US and Canada as a market. So I'll try and make this an engaging and fruitful discussion, with the main intent of sharing Armoires' journey with low code and Creator, right? So before we begin, some of the basics. All the attendees will be on mute. Please ask your questions through the questions tab on your panel. This will be an interactive panel discussion, and slides will be used as a placeholder. Essentially, slides would tell you what we are discussing about, but then there aren't a lot of information in the slide. We just want to share the story with all of you. Also, we have a couple of survey questions. The first one, which will follow this right away. Request you to please respond to it and help us structure this better. So the first poll, and Merlin and Angela, who are there on the panel, is helping us with the running of the whole of it, right? So Merlin, please share the first poll over here. The question for you is for us to understand the profile of the audience that we have today. So what is your background? Are you a business owner? Are you from the IT or technical team? Or are you from sales, marketing, or non-tech teams? If you could, I'll give you probably about 15 to 20 seconds before we get into the majority of discussion. All right. I can see that about 20% of today's attendees are business owners. Both are still coming in, but majority are from IT or technical teams, about 58% today, and about 25% are from sales and marketing and non-tech. All right, awesome. Thank you very much for that. We will just give it probably another 15 seconds before we get into the meat of the discussion. Yep, the pattern is the same. About 53% from the technical team, and others are from non-tech. All right, so let's get started. Right, let's start with the introduction. Let's get to know our audience a bit, especially Kevin and Eunice. So, Kevin, I'll shoot my first question to you. Can you tell us a bit about the organization? I've just given a very high level introduction, right? Can you tell us a bit more about Armoires and the role that you do at Armoires?
Yep. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My name is Kevin Kelly. I'm the financial controller at AD Plus. I'm a chartered professional accountant. My role at AD Plus is to support all teams of the company. I supervise the financial department, and I participate in strategic decision. Armoires AD Plus is a company specializing in the design, manufacture, and installation of custom kitchen and bathroom cabinets. We are in the residential sector, both in houses and condo towers. We do about 40 projects per week. We cut more than 44,000 panels per year. The company has a team of 125 qualified professionals who share a passion for innovative and customized solutions. This year, we celebrate the 30th birthday in business.
Wow, 3 decades in the business. That means a lot of changes that you have gone through over the 3 decades. And we'll definitely delve deeper into that. I'm very curious as to your journey within those 30 years, right? Right, let's go to Eunice. Eunice, if you could introduce yourself, BSP, give us a quick background for our audience, that will help.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Tribin. Thanks, Kevin, for the introduction too. So my name is Eunice. I'm the CTO and owner at Gestion BSP. We are a premium Zoho partner. We exist in we have 3 locations. So we have Quebec, Canada, Montreal, and the US. The US with my colleague Paul, and also we have an office in Morocco. So we focus. We have a team of more than 30 people focusing around the Zoho ecosystem. So we do. We have experts in CRM, sales, marketing, of course, and financial. And as you know, Zoho Creator low-code. So we have a team of developers, more than 12 developers on staff. So what our focus is, as I said, Zoho Creator, the Zoho ecosystem, and we try to help clients to improve how they use the Zoho ecosystem through the heart in our eyes, which is Zoho Creator with the low-code platform of Zoho. Thank you for joining us all.
Thank you very much, Eunice. Paul, if you can give it a go, that will complete the circle.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Truly appreciate it. Not sure if I saw any of you guys from the roadshow last week in Texas, but if you did join from the roadshow, I also want to say a exclusive hello and thank you. Yeah, I think you guys will like the story of AD Plus, mainly because, like Eunice mentioned, Creator's kind of the heart of their system. So a lot of clients nowadays, company owners, you guys may even be using Zoho One, but still, you need that custom solution in Creator. So I think this is also a good use case in that scenario as well. And like Trivin mentioned, just want to encourage you guys. We also have a third one that'll be coming up after this session today. So please continue with our journey. We'll give some next steps to go along with that. And the only other thing I want to say is that we do have a case study already complete with AD Plus. So today's going to be kind of cool. You're going to get to hear from Kevin. We're going to talk about the company as a whole. But I encourage all of you to also check out the case study. It's on the Zoho Creator website, and you can have it just as a bit of a reference point even after this session to kind of look back to see some of the things that we talked about as well to go along with the video. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot, Paul. All right, so let me get into the meat of the discussion, right? And Kevin, I'll probably start with you. Custom manufacturing and custom development is something that we know, and the challenges that come with it. But from your business point of view, right? How has the customer expectation changed over the last 3 decades? And what role is technology playing in it? Can you elaborate how you're leveraging technology to meet the expectations of the customer?
For customer is to respond first to the needs of the customer with the quality product, innovative concept, in order to make the customer experience like most memorable. That's why we have invested like $4 million in the last 2 years to have the best manufacturing equipment and create the best customer service experience.
Tribin, I think you might be muted on your end. Sorry about that.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. So 4 million is sorry about that. 4 million is what you have invested into the business from a manufacturing point of view, as well as from your technology that supports your manufacturing, supports your customer experience, right?
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, and I'm sure you have a lot of competitors in and around the market. So what is it that differentiates Armoires amongst your competitors? What is the key USP that is driving your business forward?
Sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. So you will have a lot of competitors out there in the market. What makes Armoires special? What is that differentiates your organization among the other competitors in the market?
It's our ability to adapt, like of the size and the complexity of the projects. We do the project like $20,000 to like $150,000. So it's the ability to adapt to all of those projects. We have the experience to meet the needs of the customer, and that's it.
Got it.
I can add. If I can add from like a partner point of view. So one thing that we saw with Kevin, Danny, and the team is that they had like this recipe of success, what make them one of the I'm gonna say best in their industry in the region. So as you heard, they celebrated 38 years. So through the years, Danny, Kevin, and the rest of the team, they develop a recipe of link, not just like I'm talking about the business side, and they put that business on the technology to be as one of the, I'm gonna say one of the references. That's what we hear here, even in the region. Every time we're talking about a cabinet manufacturer, they're one of the reference and the most talk about. So this is how they differentiate from the competitors. And of course they're great. They have one of the greatest, I'm gonna say, teams that we work with for the last at least 5 years.
Got it. Thanks for that, Yunus. Thanks for adding that. Kevin, so before you went to Yunus, right? Before you digitized the processes on Zoho Creator, can you tell us how the process was working? How you were driving business before Zoho Creator came into picture? What was your typical process like?
The process begins with the design of the project using specialized software. When the sales conclude and we have an estimate installation date is confirmed by the customer, the factory takes over. So there is the ordering of raw materials, cutting, assembly the cabinet, delivery, installation, and after sale service. Before Zoho Creator, all this does not communicate with all which other. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
I think yeah.
go on.
Sorry, Sherman. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. And I think a part of it too, like beyond software, was Kevin. Maybe you can agree, is there was a lot of like manual processes. Nothing was very automated, correct? Right. So I think that's another part of tying in Zoho Creator, help take away from the manual processes, get them something centralized, and automate what they were doing already, because the business process worked for them, right? It's what made them a successful company, but it's just, actually running the day-to-day operations. Zoho Creator help them streamline that.
And my understanding is that what was most complicated, so there are different phases in the manufacturing or in the building process in itself, and each of those stages were maintained separately, like Paul said, a lot of manual intervention in it. Eunice, I'd like to bring you into the conversation here, right? So when you first spoke to Kevin and the AD Plus team, what struck you as the most interesting challenge in the problem that they were facing, or in the entire process how they were running, and what made you feel like, okay, there is a scope for something like a Zoho Creator here to step in and kind of bring everything together?
Yeah. So when we start the discussion and collaboration with AD Plus, as Kevin explained, we had multiple. I'm gonna say there were multiple tools, and there's some of the, I'm gonna say, department they were not using tools. So the classic Excel or even paper was used. So like I said, the business side of it was working, was good, what made them a success, as Paul mentioned. But the technology of it, that was the issue. And especially when you're more than 30 years existing, you have some legacy systems that were not talking. There was no link between those applications. So when we start, we saw how I'm gonna say the manual effort that was taken and the human effort that was every time added, every time they have a growth. So just so they can follow the growth that they have. They had multiple great years of growth every year. So how they can follow that with department and tools not communicating in synchronization with each other.
Got it. And I'm not sure whether we mentioned this, but Eunice, when did this engagement begin? Like, how long have you been working with AD Plus? About 5 years?
Yeah, in late 2017, starting of 2018. So yeah, it's been a long journey.
So before COVID, and that's a huge statement to make.
Exactly.
Right? It's been a while.
Exactly.
All right. So and in these 5 years, it would have evolved in itself, right? You would have started with something and then added on top of that and all those things. So I'll get to that. I want to explore that as well. But let me come to low code and Zoho Creator in itself. So Kevin, were you aware of low code or Zoho Creator before it all started, or did you reach out to Eunice and BSP and it kind of kicked off from there? How did you discover low code?
With the BSP, we discover what we had a little. Younes, c'est juste peut-être à continuer un petit peu. Là. Les questions ne suivent pas, je pense. Donc, je vais juste. C'est vraiment comment se rencontrer. Ouais, vas-y, excuse.
Non, vas-y en français, I'm gonna translate.
Comment on a commencé? C'est vraiment, on avait une couple de rencontres avec différents fournisseurs, puis on a aimé la façon dont BSP apportait, les solutions que vous avez apportées. Puis aussi, ben, c'était tout avec le coût aussi qui était relié à ça, que c'est pour ça qu'on a décidé d'aller avec du low-code.
Was Kevin saying, and he will agree after that, of course. So he was saying that they saw multiple vendors, and what they loved about us is the way how we handle and the experience we had on the market. So that's why they got through us, and it's through us that they understand local. And what can add to what Kevin said, this is from me, they've known the Zoho ecosystem, and they loved it. But that, like I said, for us, the heart of the operation was the local. This is what we've I'm gonna say showed Kevin, Danny, and their team what can be done through low code to stay on the Zoho ecosystem.
And why we choose? Oh, sorry, but when why we choose low code?
No, go on.
Yeah, and why it's the facility to create like a lot of reports. A person with a little knowledge of Zoho Creator can quickly, with some training, be able to create and edit reports. So it's a friendly user. And also there was the cost, which was lower than other solution we had look at.
Got it. So the user experience that you had, which was user friendly to begin with, and the cost aspect kind of contributed to choosing Creator specifically once BSP introduced low code for you. So Yunus, let me come back to you. From a low code point of view, right? How did you get started with low code? I mean, how did you arrive at low code as a possible solution to build such complex applications? When obviously there is a natural tendency to go with traditional development, right? So how did you go about discovering low code, and what's your background in low code per se?
Yes, so I'm a former developer. So I studied here in Canada, and I joined one of the global leading consultant teams before. And in I'm gonna say my weekends and in my weekends I was working with some startups, and sometimes we have some proof of concept to show. And one of the quickest way to do it was to do it through low code or no code. So at the time I'm talking about in 2014, 2015. Not a lot of people know what is low code, even though Zoho Creator one of the visionaries and starting ones. So my journey started like that. And then in 2017, that's when I joined BSP. And so my first thought was, I think as every developer or someone that's like, oh, low code, you can just do simple apps. This is like for creating some forms and simple workflows. So through I'm gonna days in some webinars, conference from the team of Zoho Creator, of course, and Zoho in general, I understand that it was much more than that. And we can go, if we understand the business, and this is important to say, if we understand the business that we're working on, we can definitely create something great through low code in the Zoho ecosystem, because we can link to sales or accounting and stuff like that, and we can build a complex or complete ERP through the Zoho Creator or a low code platform.
Got it. So as an extension to that, when the AD Plus team introduced their problem statement, their main challenges that they were facing at that point in time, can you list down the challenges or the problem statement that came to you, that they came to you with? Also, why did you think it was best to go with the Creator platform instead of, let's say, a point product that was out there? What led you to exploring Creator as the solution around which all of these challenges could be solved?
So in our way of work, we always start with the scope with the client. So that's why I was talking about 2017, late 2017, starting 2018. We started with a scope, just like talking with each department, knowing their pain point, their issues, and the point to the requirements, I'm going to say, just the business requirement. So understanding the issues. So we started from the start. It's sales, as Kevin explained it. So from the day one that they have a cell, they use their cabinet manufacturing tool to design the kitchen until until I'm gonna say the invoicing part. So we go through sales departments, the inventory and purchases, project management, production, to accounting. And so we talk with them all, we understand the process, we confirm that Zoho as an ecosystem can work, but to, like I said, one of the greatest things about what makes AD Plus a success in the region is their way of work, their DNA. They have a recipe that they mastered through the years. And to put that, they have some legacy system that they've used for multiple years, but it's impossible to adapt those tools to their way of work. So they were blocked in a way of their growth, and they're pushing their DNA to the rest of the team. So that's when Zoho Creator stepped up with the flexibility. We used it to take that recipe and just like implement it for them so they can keep their DNA as they grow with it, and just like simplify that for the next at least decade, I'm gonna say. I hope I responded to the two questions of Truman.
Yes.
Let me know if it.
Yeah. No, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And Eunice, Tribin, I just wanted to add a point to that. Eunice, I think it's also important to point out how even we've spoke with Danny, the owner, and she's even taken steps, Tribin, to like reevaluate to make sure that Creator is the right solution, because she's even had people challenge her, recently and along the way to validate that this was 100% the best thing, and she's compared it against the SAPs and some of the more traditional types of software, even as recently as last year. And she still found that having the low code solution was still best for her company, because it is customizable, it is adapted to her. And to Kevin's point earlier about making changes, like that's something even your end user can do. From me personally, I don't even come from a background of computer science or programming or anything, but I can do Creator in my business when we're kicking off projects, when a variety of functions. I use Creator in my day-to-day. And then also to the point about costs, I mean, that it's 100% correct. I'll be honest with you. Last month I went to like a general SaaS conference in Austin. I mean, some of the same solutions Zoho provides, like Creator, $20, $30 a month per user. We're talking about people offering the same single solution, not a cloud software suite, offering single solutions for thousands of dollars per user per month. And when you compare the fact of pricing, the end user can enjoy using this software, the end user can make changes, and you can stay agile. Those are just some of the other benefits as well. And just wanted to add that to both Kevin and Eunice's points.
Got it. And this makes us, the team from Zoho Creator, so happy, because there are multiple things or convictions that we have had over years, which is being kind of backed up over here. Creator was built with an objective of enabling anybody to build powerful custom solutions easily. And custom solutions more so because it caters to the uniqueness of organizations, right? Every organization would be the same if everything was the same. It's their processes that makes them unique, and if you can digitize those processes, if you can add value to those processes without losing the uniqueness, you are really making a difference for such organizations. And that is where this entire story is so nice to hear, because AD Plus had the processes which made them unique, but existing products could not really support it. And that's where Creator could actually come in, make a difference with obviously the help of Team BSP, and help them preserve that uniqueness without losing the edge that they have in the market. So that's basically all the check boxes that we are, the why behind what we are doing, all the check boxes being ticked on that. Amazing. So let me move into the next aspect, right? So Eunice, you did touch upon how the engagement kind of began. You had a call, you had multiple sittings with the team. You basically listed down the process that you were going to replicate. But how did I want to understand what the process was, And two, I want to understand how you went about building it. How many apps were built on Creator? Was it a single ERP that you built, or different applications that are kind of brought together? I also want to understand how you're leveraging the Zoho ecosystem in itself. Are there other Zoho products which is a part of this entire digitization that you did? And I think I have a process chart over here. So probably we can start with this. You can explain the process, and while explaining the process, probably address the other aspects as well.
Perfect. Yeah, of course. So I'm gonna try to give just enough detail, but not a lot to bore you guys. So we start, like I said, with the sales part. So I'm gonna say, so to your point, Tribin, the CRM. So CRM was the first part that we implemented. So just like handling accounts, opportunities, and having those forecasts and pipeline very clear. This is something that Kevin and Danny was like eager to have, just having an idea of how their company is doing for the next couple of months or even years. So we started with the sales. After that, as soon as the sales is done, as Kevin explained, they have a specialized tool for designing the cabinet. So before, when they design those tools, it's like I said, it's a set of tool. It's a 3D tool. So we needed to take all the elements needed into that project and re-enter them manually. So to take on the inventory, to do the follow-up with the quotes with the client, stuff like that. So through Zoho Creator, we used a couple of scripts and what we call widgets in Zoho Creator, and we simplify that. So they just take the Excel, what the tool will give them, import it directly onto Creator, and it will create the order, create the quote detail that they can adapt and adjust, and it will prepare the PDF for the client also to be sent, just like a nice follow-up on how the kitchen with all the departments, or I'm going to say the multiple kitchens or bathroom included in that quote. That being done, we have the quote is approved by the client. They have, after that, so there's the project management that need to start. Again, when you redesign your kitchen, I'm gonna say in Quebec or even elsewhere, there is like a time for the construction part to start. So you can have the quote by January, but the work will start, for example, let's say in May or June. So they need to plan all that work for the factory. So with a couple of details and with the recipe, like I said, that AD Plus did through the last years, we just, with a click of button, we create the project management with all the details. So you have the time that every visit need to be done to complete the measures. When we need to do the purchases, when we're going to visit the client, when we're going to do the installation, if there is any issue, we're going to every point of that. Again, it was simplified through Zoho Creator, but the recipe, honestly, like I said from the start, was coming from Kevin and their team. This is their recipe. So we just like simplify it and make it flexible so they can adapt it through the years. After the project management is done, again, I'm trying not to go through a lot of details. So in the same time, there's the production. So as Kevin said, they are one of the top. They have the top of technology of cutting the wood, doing the design of it. They have a factory who was all by, I'm going to say, by paper, and in it, okay, I complete this. They need to put in a paper and then pass that paper through the multiple steps. So cutting the rest of the design, the assembly, stuff like that. So what we've done for the production was just like, again, streamline that in one dashboard when they can follow step by step. Exactly. So Kevin can be even in vacation, and one of the project bothering him, he just want to see when he he can just like go through Creator, connect and see exactly that project, which steps he is. Is it on the assembly part? Is it just started the cutting? And he can see it's exactly what's happening. So that, again, this is all staying on Creator, yeah, sorry, one part that I didn't mention. So the quote part and the purchase order are through Zoho Books. So Zoho Book, which is an accounting software, not used fully for now, because one thing I think I told you, it was a long journey. We started working with AD Plus from 2010, and what's great about the relationship, the collaboration, from the start, we confirmed that we're going to go through phases. It's a big company. We have more than 100 employees. Changes can be difficult, so technologically and everything. So we did it step by step, so they can, I'm going to say, devour one model at a time, one department at a time, so they cannot feel that rush of everything change. And so Zoho Books, like I said, for purchase orders, invoices is created automatically, and the production as explained. And last but not least, KPIs. So like I said, they have an important factory that they know how many wood plank, I'm going to say, they have, how many cabinets. Kevin gives a little bit of statistic, how many they can do, 40 projects, more than 20,000 cabinets for 6 months, stuff like that. So those KPIs, they need to follow them, so they know how many cabinets they can have or deliver per week. So that's all done with Zoho Analytics. So we took all the KPIs of how many opportunities they have coming, how many are confirmed through the production, and they have also how many the factory can deliver per week, per month, or per year. And we put that as KPIs and nice dashboard on Zoho Analytics, so they can have that snapshot of how the factory is doing. Do they need more people, more manpower? They need to improve the process, or have more people on staff for some rush times and stuff like that. With, as you said, in the pandemic, we have those issues with the logistics and stuff like that. So that was a big important part for them, knowing exactly what's the factory, how the factory is running day by day. I tried to resume it in a couple of, because there is like so much detail, but trying to give you the best picture. I hope I've done it. If there is any question, don't hesitate, Ruben or everyone.
Sure. So thank you very much for that, Yunus. And I know it's not an easy job to summarize all of it together in a small time. But let me just collect all of that, right? So Creator was used to basically bring together the entire process, which had different aspects to it. And there was considerable integration with Zoho Books, Zoho Analytics, and CRM. Does that kind of summarize the ecosystem in itself?
Zoho Flow. Sorry, I forgot Zoho Flow. So we use Zoho Flow, which is like I'm gonna say the equivalent for everyone that's Zapier. So instead of like building those API calls with different tools, we just like use Zapier to simplify. Zoho Flow to simplify that. So yeah, so Zoho Flow. I don't think I forget. Yeah, Zoho CRM, Zoho Books, Zoho Creator, Zoho Flow, Zoho Analytics. Yeah, the other part, of course, like I said, sales and marketing. So of course, the AD Plus team is using marketing, Sales IQ, the rest of the marketing stuff. They have an important and interesting team of marketing. Exactly, for the marketing part. Yeah.
Got it. And to all the attendees, just to reaffirm something, right? So Creator at this point in time, the latest version of Creator, while Yunus mentioned two different products, Zoho Flow and Analytics. Flow for the integration part, which is very much like Zapier, and Zoho Analytics, which is the full-fledged analytics engine, right? Both these products have been brought in as a part of Creator in itself. So when you subscribe for one license of Creator, you get access to all these three from the single dashboard, from the single hood, using the single license. So which essentially means that you subscribe to Creator. If you pick up Creator to do this digitization process, you have full access to both these products, which helps you build a complete solution instead of a siloed application. So that's something that we are very proud of, because no other vendor out there in the market provides something like this. Most are application development platforms and not really solution development platforms, right? So That's something that I wanted to highlight. Now, quickly, Yunus, I'll again come back to you. While you were crafting the solution, while you were engineering the solution, right? Two questions. One, mobile access to mobile is something that you can't really afford not to have when you're trying to digitize processes. Can you elaborate how did the process that you were digitizing for Armoires, did mobile have an impact on it? And second, what are the key features? If I ask you like 3 or 4 major features that really helped you craft all of this together, right? Design all of this together, what would those key features of Creator be?
So yeah, so for the mobile side, I'm gonna say there is two. I'm gonna say department. Kevin, you can correct me if I'm wrong. That choose the mobile side. So one thing I need to mention here, just so for the ones that don't know Zoho Creator, so instead of having like a big SDK and doing a full development, it's already done by the Zoho Creator team. Or all what you need to do is download the app, do a couple of small configurations to fit your needs. Let's say that you adapt the reports. Of course, you can have those simple action of swipe left, swipe right. So those action what can do. So there is two departments that they help them. So the factory itself, there is a couple of members of the team at AD Plus that use it, the mobile in an iPad or a tablet. I'm gonna say they use it to follow up those actions. Like I said, of is the assembly done, which step we are, if there is any issue from the vendors, they didn't receive the product at time, they can change the date quickly, and just like simplifies the communication between the team. And the other department I'm gonna say is all the guys for the logistic and the people, the technician do the installation. So when they are at the client side, so let's give you just an example. Before, if they were arriving, they do the installation and they found out that the cabinet was broken, so they put it on a paper, and maybe it's 5 o'clock already, so they put it on their car. The early in the morning, they totally forgot they have a new installation. A couple of days goes by, and the client is asking, "Hey, where is my my last cabinet, guys?" So and then the answer is, "Oh, I did forget. I had it in a paper." We just like cut that. So with the mobile, they have directly they complete the installation. If they forget something or have any cabinet that was broken, with a click of a button, they can enter it, and directly the administration team knows it. They can start the purchase, they can start the manufacturing, and also call the client back so they can set up a new date to complete the installation. So this is for, I'm gonna say, the mobile part, the big help. Your other question was the best. Go ahead, Trevina. Sorry, you're on mute.
You mute.
There is a thunderstorm running here right now. I just lost my power, so I'm just trying to make do with this extra highlight that you see is from a mobile. I put my flash on, so sorry about that. But then one thing that I wanted to add to what Yunus mentioned with respect to mobile, right, is the fact that when you're building an application for the web on Creator, automatically you get a native iOS and Android application with it, which is customizable. So you are essentially saving on the money that you would actually put into developing separate mobile apps. That's one part. Second, you are, by doing so, you are not even compromising on the customization that you would do with the user experience and all those things that you would typically do when you're abstracting something, right? So by going with Creator, AD Plus was able to generate native iOS and Android app, which can be deployed and downloaded and kind of made available to anybody who wants to or who has a use for it, right? So that's one key feature that a lot of organizations kind of benefit from, but it's not very obvious when you are hunting for a low-code platform, because typically when you are looking for one, you are looking for an app that for a platform that helps you build something for the web. That's the primary mode of consumption to a large extent. Yunus, the second question that I asked you was, if I have to ask you 3 features of Creator which enabled you to really make a difference to AD Plus, what would those 3 features be? Just to give our audience an insight into what really drove the entire process.
Yes, sorry. The first one, I'm gonna say, the first one will be like the just like the how the integration. Sorry, the integration. How simple the integration can be with Zoho CRM. So getting those client lists with all their details and pushing the data to, for example, Zoho Books to Zoho Analytics. This is simple. Normally, you need APIs, or and when we are at older times with ADIs, it was a lot of work. So there's just like the integrations. I think this is pretty simple. And one of the things, the second I'm gonna use is the flexibility in how a citizen developer can work on. So the owner, especially like Danny, every time now she's doing her reports and workflows by herself. She's not even asking us. So as soon because we did the architecture, we did the data. So now she's autonomous, and this is something we were talking about from the start with the AD Plus team. We can be there for them to support, but the focus was to be autonomous also, and not being linked to I'm gonna say a vendor who needs for every small report you need to call them. This is something that Zoho Creator gives. So we give them a little bit of training, and now she can do that by herself. I'm talking about Danny just to show you like someone as busy as Danny or Kevin, they can do that through their busy day, but the rest of the team can also be can help. And the last but not least to talk about is the mobile, because one of the important parts was like, yes, we need a desktop app. Of course, this is cloud based on just need a navigator, but the mobile version, the simplifying without like asking AD Plus for another budget, and especially a big budget. I think I saw there is a lot of AT people here, so they understand how costly can be to create a mobile app from scratch. But this is what was fine and interesting in the case of AD Plus and Simplify. There is a lot, Tribun. I'm trying to choose 3, man, but it's difficult. There is so much nice features.
Thank you for that, Yunus. Kevin, one question to you, and this is again going back to the fact that AD Plus has been around for 3 decades, right? And it's a fairly large team that you have. From a cultural point of view, how easy or difficult was it for you to introduce a new application, introduce new processes, and get your employees to adopt to it? And feel free to respond to this in French, and probably Yunus can add to that. But I want to understand the cultural impact that you had when you're trying to change the entire process and introduce something new to your stakeholders.
Okay, I'm gonna just repeat the last sentence that you gave, please.
Yunus, can you translate this to Kevin in French? I think that will help.
Yes, c'est l'impact, Kevin, l'impact organisationnel et sur la culture, là, comme tu m'en parlais la dernière fois. Ouais. C'est quoi l'impact que ça a eu d'avoir un outil comme Zoho Creator?
Zoho Creator is like management in general is like much easier. Every employee knows exactly what task they have to do, and they are far less non-value added administrative work. We have saved a lot of time in planning and communication, a lot of mail between departments, since all the data is now in Zoho Creator. So all the employees are like they know all the tasks they have to do, and us, we know like the project is like in cutting and like assembly, or so it's the management in general is much easier.
What I can add also, this is something just Kevin shared with me just last week. It was like even the culture, like I said, they're a human company, and I'm not saying this lightly because we know a lot of companies, they're human. And one of the things that people were feeling, I'm gonna say, included and respected, because they know exactly what's happening for each project. There is nothing hidden. So before, you needed to know what's happening in a project, you cannot know it, not because the guys or the people at AD Plus were hiding it, but it was difficult to share. But now that they have everything in Zoho Creator, it did simplify that inclusion. And one thing also I'm gonna say is that's helped is that just like through the pandemic, the team, of course, the rules of staying at home, stuff like that. AD Plus had like a big growth of more than 20%, but they've done it through the same staff and administration team, because with the information centralized, it just helped them keep going with the same with the same. I'm gonna say, even with the growth, keep the same staff and just like continue the great work.
Got it. Thank you for that.
And
Yunus
I
and
just want to
Kevin.
add,
Yes, Paul, please go ahead.
Tribune, I want to add too, because I heard someone tell me this, and one important aspect is, adopting is important, but also encouraging your staff to constantly give feedback on the process using Creator. That's also helped a lot of businesses be successful, because the journey doesn't just end like when the app is done, but also encouraging people, to speak up when they see chances to improve efficiency. That's also a part of it, of because I know there's a lot of business owners on here too, is keeping your employees motivated in that way, encouraging them to speak up and say what they think can change the system or improve the system. That's always going to make your app better. And since, it is low code, you might even be able to do it yourself.
Yeah, and that's something that we want to enable everyone with, right? Like catering to different personas. So even if you are somebody with no exposure to application development, would you be able to build something, or would you be able to take control of something which has been built by one of our partners like yourself? That's something that we really focus on providing, and I'm glad it is working out for AD Plus as well from that point of view. One final question before we get into the Q&A. And Kevin, this is for you. It's been about 5 years since you have been exploring Zoho Creator. So what's in the roadmap? I'm assuming all your processes are kind of established. What next for Zoho Creator for AD Plus? What next with Zoho Creator for AD Plus?
You are on mute, Kevin.
Sorry about that. Is to continue our efforts to simplify our operation, to expand to use Zoho Creator. We are currently working on the supplier portal, which will be a valuable addition to the company's day-to-day process, further simplifying the purchase of raw material.
Okay, and Yunus, what are the short-term and long-term things that you are helping AD Plus with, in addition to what Kevin mentioned?
So yeah, we are there, and I'm gonna say in a way in the day-to-day, because every time, as Paul mentioned, and even Kevin, they're improving some small efficiencies through the department. And there was the portal, so we're gonna leverage the customer portal that Zoho proposed to simplify the relationship with their vendor. Just so you know, so they have a lot of purchases done through the year. So instead of going back and forth by email and everything, so we leverage the Zoho portal, so they can just like, it will be implemented in the next couple of weeks. They can just like, the vendor can say, oh, this is the date of delivery. This is my new price. Guys, how the price are changing nowadays with the logistics. And they can just like go back and forth in that portal and accepting it or refusing it or just negotiating. There is also the scan So now that the team at the factory are more digitized than before, now they can go through the scan part, just like scanning the part that were done, stuff like that. This is also ongoing. Last but not least, a little bit more than the future, but we're gonna leverage the Zoho IoT parts since they have one of the nicest, I'm gonna say, the last technology in their factory, and we'll leverage that through Zoho Creator IoT platform. So that's a little bit more on the road, but starting the discussion with Kevin's team.
Great. Thanks a lot for that. I have one final poll before we conclude this, and a couple of questions have also come up. So I'll just start the poll. This is for us to understand whether you would want to have a free POC built for any of the project problem statements that you have. And what we will offer is we will get in touch with you separately with the BSP team, and we will take your requirement. We will build something for free, like I mentioned, through our team of experts in collaboration with BSP to help you understand what is possible with Creator with respect to you, as in with respect to the context of your organization, right? And see where we can go from there. I'll give it a couple of more seconds before I come back. In fact, I'll let you vote on it. But let me quickly get into the Q&A before I conclude. And we have a couple of questions here. First one is, and I'll probably combine both of these and throw it at you, Yunus. And Paul, you can also pitch in. Bill of material, BOM is one of the most important part in manufacturing industries. How did you handle that part, and what was the integration point between Zoho Books and Creator? That's one question. And there is also this question from Rahul himself. Did you also use Zoho Inventory as a part of the solution? So two parts to it, but if you can take it up, that'll be great.
So I can go. So yes, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, what we do is just like we improve, I'm gonna say, the Zoho ecosystem through Zoho Creator. So yes, we are leveraging Zoho Inventory and Zoho Books. And we did, it was Raul, we did create a bill of material, multi-level bill of material, just through the workflows, with our experience with the platform, and everything is linked to Zoho Books and Inventory. So the accounting parts we're naturally creating is we're leveraging Zoho Books, and even for the inventory, so warehouses, the receipts and stuff like that, we're all leveraging Zoho Inventory. The first webinar we did share an example and did a demo of it, Raul. We can definitely share that with you if you are interested.
To add to that, exactly what Yunus said, check out the first webinar. We did a live session too. We have multi-level bill of materials on our inventory solution, something that won't necessarily come out of the box with Zoho Inventory. So, that's a pretty big need for a lot of you manufacturers out there. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And, just keep in mind, like Yunus has said the whole time, and the rest of the guys, and the topic of this webinar is we're streamlining processes. So it's not always, a complete app to streamline your entire operations. It's kind of taking it step by step. So in the scenario you do need to improve your bill materials, that's a place you can start. You start with Creator, improve that bill of materials, make some multi-level bombs, and you continue to go from there. It's not always, changing the business overnight. Keep your business roles and adapt Zoho Creator to it.
Great. And I see a couple of more questions, and we are at the end of the session. So definitely, Thomas, Rahul, we will share the previous session. So what we'll do is we will probably on Monday, we will send out the recording for this session, and in that we will include the previous session recording as well, so for you to go through. And at any point in time, just respond back to that mail, and we will be more than happy to take any questions that you have and connect you to Team BSP. This was really, really insightful. Though I knew the story, it was great to hear on what went on the ground when you were starting your journey and how it has evolved over the last 5 years. So thank you very much, Kevin. I know this was not the most easiest of conversation for you, but then I really, really, really appreciate you for showing up and helping us out with your insights. And Eunice and Paul, Angela, Merlin, thanks a lot. You are a part of the team, so it's always a pleasure working with you. For everyone who attended, thank you very much, and we will definitely come back to you with the recording and open up a channel of conversation to take any queries that you may have and take the discussion forward. Once again, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day or evening, wherever you are from joining us from. Thank you, and have a great
Thank you very much.
rest of the day.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye.